Okay, so like imagine you're a native high schooler and you're super stoked about college, right?
Hmm.
But then you start thinking about the whole financial side of things, and it's kind of like this
Yeah.
big mountain of question marks.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot to figure out, especially if you're the first in your family to go to college.
Exactly. So this deep dives, we're going to tackle that like head on. We're talking about making college affordable, specifically for native youth.
And we've got some seriously awesome resources to help us with this.
Oh yeah, we're bringing out the big guns. So we've got a video all about CollegeBound Journey. It's this amazing scholarship platform made just for native students.
And we've also got this really in-depth national study. It's called National Study on College Affordability for Indigenous Students. Super long title, but it's packed with information.
Totally. And to make things even easier, we've got an article that breaks down the study's like key findings, plus a policy brief that really dives into all those like policies and stuff around higher ed for native students.
Right, because policies play a huge role in all of this.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so the national study we're looking at, it
Yeah.
kind of drops a bit of a truth bomb right from the start.
Mm.
It says that native students who go to four-year colleges, they actually have way lower graduation rates compared to like the national average.
Yeah, and you know what they found is a big reason for that?
Tell me.
Affordability. It's not just about getting accepted, it's about being able to actually stay in school and, finish that degree.
So true.
Okay.
Which brings us to CollegeBound Journey. And get this, they've like totally leveled up. They used to have 500 scholarships and tuition waivers, but now, drum roll please,
Okay, I'm waiting.
over 750.
Whoa, that's a huge jump.
Right, it's like this massive library of financial aid just for native students.
That's amazing. And it shows like a real commitment to, actually supporting Native students.
Totally. Okay, so the video we've got, it kind of walks us through how CollegeBound Journey works, and it like super user-friendly.
Oh, good, because some of those scholarship websites can be a real pain to navigate.
Yeah. Right. But this one, it's got all these filters so you can search by like your tribal affiliation.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And your major, what type of school you're thinking about, all that good stuff. So you're not wasting time on scholarships that like don't even apply to you.
It's all about finding those perfect fit scholarships, right?
Exactly. And speaking of specific scholarships, the video gives this cool example. It's called the Minority Teachers Scholars Program, and it's in Arkansas.
Okay, tell me more.
So if you're thinking about being a teacher, this one gives you $5,000 a year.
Not bad at all.
Right. It just shows, like, there's some serious scholarships out there, not just like little one-time awards.
Exactly. This could make a real difference in someone's college experience.
Totally. And CollegeBound Journey also has this, like, save list feature.
Yeah.
So you can keep track of all the scholarships you're, interested in.
Oh, that's helpful, because I know it can be a lot to juggle.
Right. It's like having your own personal scholarship organizer.
Love it. Okay, so CollegeBound Journey is awesome, but let's zoom out a bit.
Okay, zooming out.
And look at what the national study is telling us overall. One thing that really stands out is that for a lot of Native students, finances actually dictate where they even APPLY, not just whether they can afford to stay enrolled.
Wow. So, like, that financial pressure starts even before you set foot on campus.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's limiting their choices from the get-go.
And the article we've got, it tells this really powerful story about a student named Greta Gustafson. She actually chose a college, like solely based on how much it cost.
Oh, wow. So she had to give up on some of her, top choices.
Yeah, and I think her story is something a lot of students can probably relate to, regardless of their background. But it's especially, like, impactful in the context of, what Native students are facing.
Absolutely. It really brings those statistics to life, reminds us that we're talking about real people with real dreams.
Totally. And sometimes those dreams get, like, shaped by these financial realities.
Exactly. It's not always a level playing field. And the study, it doesn't just tell stories, it hits you with the facts. Some pretty hard-hitting stats, actually.
Okay, hit me.
So they found that, get this, 72%, that's almost three-quarters, 72% of Native students said they ran out of money at least once in just the last 6 months.
Wow.
I know, right? And it gets even more concerning. 25% of those students said they struggled to get enough food. They experienced food insecurity. And then this is the one that really got me. 16% actually experienced homelessness, while they were trying to get their degree.
Oh my gosh, that's just heartbreaking. It's like those numbers, they really paint a picture of just how tough it is for a lot of Native students. And it kind of makes you wonder, why is it so much harder for them? I mean, you always hear that thing about, oh, Native students go to college for free. But clearly that's not true for everyone.
Right. That's like such a harmful myth because it kind of hides the real struggles that, a lot of Native students are going through. And it's important to remember that even though those tuition waivers do exist, sometimes they have all these like specific rules and they might not even cover all your expenses. Plus, a lot of students just don't qualify for them in the first place.
So it's kind of like a solution, but not really a solution.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where like the policy stuff comes in. The policy brief we've got, it talks about some of the bigger like socioeconomic factors that are at play here.
Okay, like what?
Well, like poverty rates are just way higher in Native communities. And then like unemployment on reservations is a huge issue. And a lot of times there just isn't enough access to support services. So you've got all these systemic issues that are already making things tough. And then you add college on top of that.
Right, and it's not just the tuition costs either. There are all those hidden costs that you don't really think about until you're like right in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. All those like little extra expenses, they add up so fast.
For sure. I remember when I was in college, I was like constantly surprised by like how much everything costs. It's like books and then transportation and then, oh yeah, there's a fee for that and a fee for this.
And technology. Don't forget about all the tech stuff you need these days.
Totally. And for students who are already struggling financially, it's got to be so much harder to like keep up with all of that.
Absolutely. And actually, the study brings up another cost that people don't always think about. It's like they call it the cost of time.
What's that?
Well, for a lot of Native students, going to college means leaving their families and their communities, and that means missing out on like cultural events, ceremonies,
Oh,
obligations.
right. Like all those things that connect them to their culture and their community.
Exactly. And that separation, it has a cost too, even if you can't like put a dollar amount on it.
So true. It's not
Definitely.
just about the money. It's about all the sacrifices they're making to get their education.
Exactly. And that's why it's such a complicated issue. There's no like easy fix.
Okay, so knowing all of this, what can we actually do about it? I mean, the policy brief has some ideas for like high schools and colleges and people who make policies. But what about for us, like for people listening to this? How can we be part of the solution?
That's a great question. I mean, information is only useful if we actually do something with it, right?
Right.
So, one thing the policy brief talks about is like pushing for more financial literacy in high schools. Like, we need to be teaching kids about money and how to manage it, like way before they even get to college.
Yes, like budgeting and all that financial aid stuff, it can be so confusing. I wish I'd learned more about it in high school.
Right. It's like such an important life skill.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so another thing is we need to be holding colleges accountable, like making sure they're being transparent about the real cost of attending.
Oh, yeah, all those hitter fees.
Exactly. Students and their families, they deserve to know upfront what it's actually going to cost, so they can make informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No more surprises. And what about on a bigger level, like with the government?
Well, we definitely need more federal funding for, the support programs specifically for Native students and just more need-based financial aid in general.
Yeah, that would make a huge difference, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like systemic change requires systemic solutions,
Yeah.
right? More funding could really go a long way.
Totally. Okay, so let's shift gears for a minute and talk directly to like the Native students out there who are getting ready for college.
Yep.
Based on all this research, what advice can we give them? Like, what are some practical steps they can take?
Okay, so first things first, start looking for scholarships early. Like, don't wait till the last minute. CollegeBound Journey is a great place to start, but there are tons of other resources out there too.
Yeah, the early bird gets the worm or the scholarship or something like that.
Exactly. And, there are scholarships for all sorts of things like good grades, leadership skills, community involvement, even specific areas of study. So, like, cast a wide net, explore all your options.
Good advice.
And then don't be afraid to fill out the FSA. I know it can seem kind of intimidating, but there's help available if you need it. And even if you don't think you'll qualify, just fill it out anyway. You never know.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot.
Totally. Okay, and then once you kind of have a sense of like what your financial situation might look like, make a budget, like a realistic one.
Oh yeah, budgeting is key.
Right. And make sure to factor in those hidden costs we talked about, like transportation and all that. But also, be flexible. Life happens, and sometimes there are like surprise expenses.
Oh, for sure. Things always come up.
Yeah.
What else? What else should students be thinking about?
Oh, this one's important. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Like connect with the Native Student Support Services at whatever colleges you're looking at. They can offer like guidance, mentorship, and just a sense of community.
Yeah, that sense of community can be so important, especially when you're like in a new environment. It can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And then, depending on your situation, you might want to consider attending a tribal college or university. They're often like more affordable and they usually have a really strong focus on, celebrating and preserving native culture.
That's a great option. Okay, so even though we've like uncovered some pretty tough realities about college affordability for Native students, I'm actually walking away from this feeling kind of hopeful.
Me too.
It's kind of amazing, right? Like even with all these challenges, the research shows that Native students are like seriously motivated to use their education to, make a difference.
Totally. They want to give back to their communities, to their tribes. It's pretty inspiring.
It is, and it makes you think like, what can we all do as a society? I mean, to help support these students and, make sure that money isn't the thing that's holding them back.
Right. That's the big question.
It is. But I feel like we found some answers in this deep dive. Like we talked about resources like CollegeBound Journey and, how important it is to learn about like managing money.
Yeah. Financial literacy.
Yes. And then there's advocating for like policy changes and, just making sure students know where to find support. It's got to be a team effort.
It totally does. And even small things can make a difference, like talk to your friends and family about this. Share those resources we talked about. Get involved in your community. Every little bit helps.
So true. And for anyone listening who wants to like learn more, we've got links to all those resources in the show notes. Go check them out.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I want to say something to like all the Native students out there. We see you, we support you, and we believe in you. Keep chasing those dreams, okay?
Yeah. You're not just getting a degree for yourself. You're helping to build a better future for your people, for your communities, for generations to come.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This deep dive has been like seriously eye-opening. To everyone listening, thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.